My girlfriend had an affair with her boss to secure a promotion and then claimed, "This is what ambitious people do." I replied, "Congrats on your success." After that, I sent the evidence to the boss's wife with a brief note stating, "You should see this." As a result, the boss was terminated, and my ex lost her promotion within the same week. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Many of you watching still haven't subscribed, so if you enjoy these stories, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm sitting on my couch in a completely quiet apartment, looking at my laptop. On the screen is an email I sent about an hour ago. It included 2 attachments and just 1 sentence, and I believe it's the most crucial email I'll ever send. My girlfriend of 3 years, Chloe, 28, just told me that having an affair with her boss was a strategic career move. I'm 31, and I'm still trying to process the level of craziness I just faced. Chloe has always had big ambitions, which I used to admire. She works in marketing at a competitive firm downtown and has always been focused on climbing the corporate ladder. Her boss, Mark, is one of those senior VP types in his late 40s, wearing a flashy watch, expensive suit, and often discussing synergy. I always felt a strange vibe from him, but I attributed it to him being a corporate shark. A few months back, a co-worker of Chloe's received a promotion that she had wanted. She was heartbroken, but it was more than just sadness. She was furious. I remember her pacing our living room, saying, "She didn't even deserve it. She's not even better at the job. She just knows how to play the game. I need to learn how to play the game." That should have been a major warning sign. Things had changed recently. She was working late consistently, but when I asked her what project she was involved with, she was strangely vague. Then came the gifts, a new designer handbag, and a gift certificate for a fancy spa. She told me they were perks for high performers. The biggest change, however, was her phone. It seemed to always be in her hand and was always face down on the table. The truth came out last night. It was late, and she was in the shower. Her laptop was open on the coffee table. A notification popped up on the screen from Mark. The preview read, "Can't wait for our next strategy session." My heart sank. It was that gut feeling you get when you know something is off, but you don't want to believe it. I told myself I was being irrational, but I had to know. My hands were shaking as I opened the messaging app, and there it was, a whole history of messages, explicit and undeniable texts about their meetings at hotels, photos she had sent him, and discussions about her promotion. He would write things like, "You keep me happy, and I'll ensure you get that senior analyst position." And she would reply, "I'm a team player." I felt sick. I almost slammed the laptop shut, but a different thought broke through the anger. Proof. I needed proof. I quickly forwarded the most damning screenshots and 2 of the photos to a new email address I created on the spot. Then, I went into her sent folder and deleted the evidence of my forward. It felt cold and calculated. I barely recognized myself. I waited for her to finish her shower. She came into the living room in a robe, humming, and asked what I wanted to watch on TV. I just looked at her, my voice steady. "Congratulations on the promotion, Chloe." Her expression shifted from confusion to panic. "What?" I replied. I saw the text with Mark. She didn't cry or deny it. She crossed her arms with a defiant expression and then said the words that will forever be etched in my memory. "Look, Tom, I understand you're upset, but this is the real world. This is how the game is played. It's what ambitious people do to get ahead." I just stared at her. She had cheated and betrayed 3 years of our life together, framing it as a career achievement. She genuinely believed she was justified. I didn't yell or argue. I just nodded slowly. "Congratulations on your success." I declared that the conversation was over. Our life together was over. She thinks she won. She believes I will just accept this. She has no clue what I was looking at on my laptop just before I started writing this post. You see, her boss Mark is married, and his wife, Jennifer, is a well-known charity organizer. Finding her was easy. Sending that email was even easier. The game isn't over, it's just beginning. Update 1. It's been 24 hours, the longest 24 hours of my life. I haven't slept. I've been surviving on coffee and a determined sense of purpose. After our talk last night, Chloe seemed almost relieved. She actually said, "I'm glad we got that out in the open. It's better to be honest." The level of delusion was astonishing. She started packing an overnight bag, saying she was going to stay with her friend Amy for a few days to give me space to process everything. She fully expected to come back. As she was leaving, she touched my arm and said, Don't throw us away over this, Tom. This was a career move, not an emotional affair. It's just business. I replied, looking her in the eye. You're right, it is just business. She smiled, thinking I understood. I helped her carry her bag to the door. As soon as she left, I finalized my plan. I had already found Mark's wife, Jennifer, online. She was involved with several major local charities and had a personal blog about her philanthropic work. On the blog's contact page was an email address. I opened the anonymous email account I had created and attached the screenshots of the texts along with the 2 most incriminating photos. In the body of the email, I simply wrote one line. I'm sorry to be the one to send this, but I think you should see this. I stared at the screen for about 5 minutes before hitting send. The feeling was not satisfaction, not yet. It felt like gravity, as if I had pushed a massive boulder off a high cliff. The first sign that the boulder had landed came around noon today. I received a text from my friend Kevin, who works at the same company as Chloe and Mark, but in a different department. His message read, Dude, something wild is happening here. He said Mark was pulled out of a meeting by someone from the main office an hour ago and looked like he was heading to his own execution. Rumors were swirling. I felt a grim smile form on my lips. The plan was unfolding. The call from Chloe came at 4 p.m. She was frantic. Tom, what did you do? She screamed into the phone. Mark just called me. He's a wreck. He said, Jennifer knows. She knows everything. How could she know? Did you tell someone? I let her spiral for a moment before responding calmly. I have no idea what you're talking about, Chloe. You were the one having the affair. These things have a way of coming out. Don't you lie to me, she shrieked. This is your fault. Mark said his wife got an anonymous email. You did this. You're trying to ruin me. Ruin you? I replied, turning her logic back on her. I thought this was a business deal. You made an agreement with Mark. It sounds like you just didn't consider all the risks. Maybe you should have done more research on your business partner's liabilities before merging assets. She was stammering, unable to form a coherent sentence. All she could manage was, You'll regret this, Tom. No, I said, and I'd never been more certain of anything in my life. The only thing I regret is not realizing who you really were sooner. We're done, Chloe. Don't come back to the apartment. I hung up and immediately blocked her number. The boulder is still rolling. Update 2, it's been a week. A lot can change in a week. The boulder I pushed off that cliff didn't just roll. It caused an avalanche. My friend Kevin kept me updated on the situation. Jennifer, the wife, turns out to be no one to mess with. She's not just a charity organizer. Her father founded a venture capital firm that was one of the earliest and largest investors in Chloe's company. Her family still holds a significant block of shares. Jennifer herself sits on 2 corporate boards. She isn't just a wife, she's a powerhouse. She didn't confront Mark with anger. She was much more strategic. She forwarded my email to her lawyer, who then contacted the company's board of directors directly. She didn't frame it as just an affair. She presented it as a senior executive creating substantial liability for the company by using company resources and promotions as leverage for personal misconduct, violating his employment contract and the corporate ethics policy. Mark never stood a chance. He was fired by the end of the day with no severance package. The company-wide email sent out the next morning was beautifully corporate and vague. Mark Smith is no longer with the company. We thank him for his contributions and wish him the best in his future endeavors. As for Chloe, the fallout for her was just as swift. With Mark gone, an interim VP was appointed. The first action this new VP took was to review all of Mark's recent personnel decisions. Chloe's promotion, which hadn't even been officially announced yet, was immediately rescinded, pending a full departmental review. She wasn't fired, but in some ways what happened was worse. She was sent back to her old desk in the middle of the open office. Everyone knew. The whispers followed her everywhere. She became known as the girl who slept with the boss and got him fired, all for a promotion that evaporated into thin air. She became a pariah. I even got a taste of her new social status myself. One of her work friends sent me an angry message on social media, calling me a vindictive monster for ruining Chloe's career. I simply replied, Chloe called her actions ambitious. It turns out they were just a bad investment. Tell her I wish her success in her future endeavors. The friend blocked me. The final act happened yesterday. I received a text from Chloe's dad asking when would be a good time to pick up her things. I told him to come by on Saturday morning. He arrived alone, looking tired and ashamed. We packed her belongings in silence. As he was leaving, he just shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, Tom. She wasn't raised like this." Just as he was closing his truck door, Chloe herself arrived in an Uber. She rushed up to me, her face pale and furious. "You ruined my life," she screamed. "My career is over because of you." "No, Chloe," I replied calmly. "Your career is in this state because you made a deal with a married man, and it backfired. You took a gamble and lost. I just showed the other players at the table what cards you were holding." She stood there speechless for the first time since I'd known her. I turned around, walked back into my apartment, and locked the door. Final update, it's been 3 months now. The dust has settled, and I can finally see clearly. Chloe didn't last long at her job. According to Kevin, she walked out 2 weeks after her things were moved out of my apartment. She couldn't handle the stares, the whispers, and the isolation. She had become toxic. I heard she's living back at home with her parents, unemployed. The marketing and PR community in our city is small. A story like this involving a high-profile VP at a major firm spreads quickly. Her reputation is in ruins. Mark, the former boss, is in even worse shape. His divorce is going to be notorious. Jennifer is not playing around. Her lawyers are building a case that his actions jeopardized assets she has a stake in, and they're going after everything. His career at that level is over. No one will touch him. As for me, I'm doing better than I ever anticipated. The first month was difficult, untangling our lives and dealing with the sheer shock of the betrayal. But now it feels like a massive weight has been lifted. I feel lighter. I even received a promotion at my own job last month. One I earned through hard work and building strong relationships, not through deceit. The irony isn't lost on me. Looking back, Chloe was right about one thing. It's a competitive world, and you have to be ambitious. But there are 2 types of ambition. There's the kind where you build yourself up brick by brick through talent and dedication, and then there's her kind. The kind where you take shortcuts by tearing others down or using them as stepping stones. Her ambition was a cheap imitation of the real thing. She thought she was being a savvy businessperson, but she was just being a poor partner. She made a high-risk, low-integrity investment, and the market corrected itself. Sending that email wasn't just revenge. It was holding a mirror up to her and her boss and showing them exactly who they were.